Aha! You have found me again, Mike Matthews. I am the host of the longest-running self-produced daily podcast. It is called Mike's Daily Podcast. And in this show today, it's all about finding out what the heck is IKEA doing, what the heck our college is doing, what the heck is the number one safest place to be in this crazy cyber security world, all these fascinating things. And I guess we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster, all of that. But first, I have to open the door and let you into Café Anyway. Café Anyway. Welcome to Café Anyway.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 2931. Mike Matthews here at Café Anyway in the
Mike's Daily Podcast.
PodCastro Valley in the land of Meritopia, the last place on earth. And a lot of our furniture came from a Swedish place that you probably know for sure. Is it slightly Danish to Scandinavian, Stockholm, Sweden, and you knew what I was talking about, the Swedish furniture giant IKEA. They,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
had a drop in annual sales after lowering
Mike's
the prices
Daily
of its goods
Podcast
to encourage shoppers into the stores. I would have thought that if you lower the prices, that the more people come in. I don't know what that accent is, but the furniture giant sales fell a little over 5%. So this was in the 12 months leading up to the last week of August compared to the same period a year earlier. Let's just say 2022 to 2023. So there you go. As the global economy struggled and the home furnishing market contracted versus expanding, it contracted over the past year. Like a contraction, like the word don't or can't. IKEA said it lowered prices, which resulted in a 4.5% increase in customer store visits within their online store. And with the online store visits increasing 21%, boosting its market share. In the full year 2024, we substantially lowered prices across all 23 markets, they said. The prime cuts came after the company highlighted at the end of last year that the cost of everything from raw materials and commodities
And here's today's podcast picture.
to transportation, and this podcast picture, I didn't have to transport myself too far. I was in PodCastro Valley, and there's this cool house. But this picture is, if we go back in time, we have to transport ourselves back in time because it was from 7 years ago. So, around this time of year, 7 years ago, and the Halloween, and this house always has something cool. In fact, I need to get over there soon and check out what they've done this year. Maybe I'll post that next podcast picture, but see that at mikesdailypodcast.com. as well as cool podcast pictures of the late, great Basil the Boxer, who every day through the entire time that I had him for about 10 years, a little over 10 years, we went walking just about every day until he couldn't walk anymore. The price cuts came after the company highlighted at the end of last year that the cost of everything from raw materials and commodities to transportation and logistics had begun to fall, which it hoped would allow for a reduction in wholesale prices. And that would be the first time that they had done a drop in prices since the pandemic. It said it added 56 new sales locations as well, new places to go to IKEA, 56 of them. I remember we used to drive about 3.5 hours to get to an IKEA when we lived in Huntsville, Alabama. And nowadays, I've got one fairly close to me in Emeryville that I need to go there. Well, I don't need any more furniture. I'm done with the furniture buying, so... Yes. The late great Basil the Boxer went with me to IKEA once. I remember we were I kept him in the car for a while when I went to go get some Swedish meatballs for us. He enjoyed that. And then I might have bought a flute. I bought a floor. But their largest franchisee, which is Inca Group, which owns most IKEA stores globally and accounts for around 90% of retail sales, said it invested more than 2.1 billion euros into price cuts over the past year and also spent 1.3 billion euros on revamping existing stores, expansion, and digital development. And these measures led to a 3.3 increase in store visits. So that's interesting stuff about IKEA. Meanwhile, Amazon...
Mike's Matthewsment Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
Yes, it's like a roller coaster of news. Oh, so their annual sales, IKEA, by the way, slumped 5% as consumers pulled back on furniture purchases amid a weak housing market. And though they had slashed prices, that from the New York Post. And then Amazon, they are doubling down on pharmacies. Now, Walmart had to close some of their medical centers, their pharmacy type places, and they're swapping that basically for a veterinary place, a place for pets, because they realize that people spend so much money on their pets and supplies and the little toys and everything else. So they're getting into that. But Amazon, however, is sticking with helping customers get same-day delivery for their prescriptions. They plan to open pharmacies in 20 new cities across the U.S., unlike Walmart, which is closing their pharmacy-type places. This will be in the year 2025. This expansion will more than double the number of cities where customers can access same-day delivery for their medications. And these will be located within Amazon's same-day delivery sites, warehouses that are part fulfillment centers and part delivery stations, and aim to address a significant challenge in healthcare, providing convenient and affordable access to medications. Amazon's clinical teams will manage the prescription review and packaging process. Customers in major cities like Boston, Dallas, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, and San Diego will soon have access to faster delivery of their medications. Additional cities to be announced later. Since their launch in 2020, Amazon Pharmacy said it has focused on making it easier to get medications. And we're going outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopka. They talk here about pharmacy deserts, areas with limited access to pharmacies. That's becoming more common, and residents in many areas face increasing difficulty accessing medications. Letting you know that at Café Anyway. And a study published earlier this year found that among the 3,143 U.S. counties, almost half had communities that were 10 miles or further from the nearest pharmacy. So Amazon trying to do something about that and cash in along the way. That from the website Quartz. And then students are failing basic math as well as science and English standards. What? Most California students are still not meeting basic state standards?
Mike's out of left field recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
This is an out of left field recording for you. This from the Center Square, that according to the latest annual report from the California Department of Education, scores are up from last year. However, it is only an increase of less than 1% within a margin of error. Critics ask why California schools, which received $4 billion last year in hold harmless funds that help schools avoid budget cuts by funding over 400,000 ghost students who no longer exist, and billions more in pandemic and pandemic learning recovery funding, are barely improving. CDE's latest report has 47% of students reaching state standards for English, which is up from 46% the year before. And then the rest 35 in math.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
Thank you. And 30.7 in science. All those numbers just like a smidge higher than last year. Scores for migrants were mixed, with 24% meeting state standards for English language arts, which was down slightly, about 0.2% from the year prior, and slightly up about 1% for math, and a steady 11.7% for science, at 15.8 for math. One factor that could improve learning outcomes is a settlement requiring the CDE, the California Defense Initiative. California Dancing Everywhere. No, California Department of Education is what that actually is. The California Department of Education spend $2 billion.
We have to win all the things.
Oh, there you go.
All the things.
Isn't Becky Pringle?
We are warriors.
Becky Pringle's part of the education system. She wants to win all the things. And Dwight is saying we are warriors. So that was an interesting bit. But one factor could be that what can help learning outcomes is a settlement requiring the California Department of Education to spend $2 billion in unused pandemic-era funding on evidence-based learning interventions, such as phonics-based reading programs that teach students to read much more successfully than less sound methods, according to the Center Square. And then this little bit here, speaking of schools, there's a lawsuit accusing 40 top colleges of inflating prices for students with divorced parents. An antitrust lawsuit filed accuses some of America's wealthiest colleges. Speaking of lawsuits...
Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine?
I don't know what he's using, but that was not... Hey, he was higher than a kite. And by the way, it was the worst address I've ever seen. State of the Nation. I'll tell you, State of the Union, that's not State of the Union, because he doesn't represent us properly. That I can tell you.
And he takes cocaine. Wow. That's crazy. Who's taking cocaine? That guy? Or the president? Or who's whatever? What's it, 1970s again? And everyone's on cocaine. No. This is an antitrust lawsuit filed that accuses some of America's wealthiest colleges and universities of overcharging students with divorced or separated parents. It was in Illinois. It says that 40 private colleges, including Harvard, Yale University, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Stanford University, conspired to keep prices high for students with, quote, non-custodial parents. The schools require that students who want non-federal financial aid use the CSS profile, an application overseen by the College Board, which also administers the SAT and advanced placement courses nationwide.
The Fascinating Material Project.
Well, another reason why yours truly didn't go to a major university, because my parents were divorced and I probably would have had the same thing, although this was billions of years ago. The College Board said the organization is confident it will prevail in this new case. So, but now, what about cryptocurrency and stuff like that? National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is this month. In honor of the annual event, HighSpeedInternet.com released a new report ranking the states that are safest from cybercrime.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
And that is what this article is about, a fine article. Let's see. It said, what's number 10 at the bottom of the list is Vermont. Number 9 is Tennessee. Number 8, Mississippi. Number 7, Louisiana. Number 6, Alabama. Number 5, these are the safest states from cybercrime. Number 5 is New Hampshire. Number 4, Kentucky. Number 3, North Dakota. Number 2, Wisconsin. And number 1 is Maine. Another reason why to move to Maine. Why you need to. The top 3 states most susceptible to cybercrime in 2024 are D.C. They're at the top of the most susceptible list, followed by Texas and Nevada. Let's hear it for Nevada. The 3 most reported cybercrimes are phishing, personal data breach, and that's phishing with a PH, everyone. Although you're listening to this through the internet, you have some internet knowledge and skills, and so you probably knew that. Personal data breaches and non-payment, non-delivery crimes. Ranked by financial loss, the top 3 cybercrimes are investment fraud, business email compromise, and tech support scams. Interesting. So, speaking of frauds on the internet, cryptocurrency, 3 cryptocurrency companies and 15 individuals have been charged in what U.S. prosecutors called the first criminal prosecution of financial service firms for market manipulation and sham trading in the crypto sector.
We love you, Mike.
Thank you. This from Reuters. Federal prosecutors in Boston charged the firms GotBit, ZM Quant, and CLS Global and the leaders and employees of those and other companies in a case that also involved the arrest of people overseas. 5 people have agreed to plead guilty or have already done so. They accused the defendants, the prosecutors, of engaging in the crypto equivalent. What? That somehow they thought that was funny. They accused the defendants of engaging in the crypto equivalent of stock market pump and dump schemes that involved sham trades to artificially inflate the trading volume of various cryptocurrency tokens before selling them off. Dang. So that's another issue in the crypto world. There is that. It was really big earlier this year. Then it took a dive. Then it was big a little while ago. Then the hurricanes happened, and it did not seem to be the digital gold that everyone was hoping for. Like when there's some kind of disaster or some kind of other crazy thing, that there's some people are like, oh, I'll use that as like a hedge against all this stuff going crazy. So they buy gold. Well, the cryptocurrency is not the same as gold. We found out recently. In some articles and whatnot that we found in kombucha. Oh, wait, look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I brought my horse Tilly.
It's Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
You still kind of sound congested, but I think you probably are doing better.
I had some jalapeno soup. Thanks for asking. It magnified the goodness in my body to fight off whatever crazy stuff was going on in my sinuses. And I'm oh so happy and thankful for it. Yay.
That's great, Mark. You know, I don't know what you just said or what that kombucha is or what anything else is, but sometimes I find this podcast somewhat interesting and entertaining. Tell you what.
What?
That.
Okay. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, boy.
Oh, thank you. That looks really good. Oh, it magnifies delicious tastes in my mouth.
Drink it right now. I'll kill you.
Okay. I will. Yum. Drinking. Excellent. What did you think of all of that? You can call me at this number here.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Hey, kids. It's me. Do-re-mi the clown.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for everything. Thank you. You can watch this on Facebook. There's a little bit there on Facebook that you can watch this on. Facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. You can see the video of when I was recording it and all that fun stuff. And why, tell your friends. And
you will travel into the incredible universe.
With all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast.com, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you, gracias for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!